Hello everyone, welcome back to Kiran's English Hub. So in this video, we are going to go through class 10th, that is next unit. The next unit is Unit 7, and in that reading A. Reading A is, first reading A is My Childhood. So this is written by Dr. Apj Abdul Kalam. So let us get into the lesson. So before getting into the lesson, I would like to tell you that I am going to continue the lesson in bilingual, both Telugu and English, right? So that would comfort all the viewers who are listening to this from the Telugu states or who are listening to this from the states outside our Telugu states, right? So the theme for this unit is going to be nation and diversity. Okay, so this theme is very much sensitive theme actually in my point of view, if you ask me, because with reference to the present day, not to the previous days. So in this Dr. Apj Abdul Kalam's My Childhood, we will see how he had spent his childhood and all, in the midst of all the friends who do not belong to his community, his religion, but who belong to other religion and all. So in the beginning, we have the poster for this My Childhood, Plea for India, Unity in Diversity in India. As we can see, different types of pictures, different type of pictures which represent culture, which represent our religion, which represent different places, different customs and traditions. And later coming to this, another picture for the questions here. As we can see here, there is a priest dressed in Hindu dresses here, and he's batting, he's playing cricket, and whereas a person who is beside behind him is a Muslim wearing a cap, and these two people are playing together, which is very rare case nowadays. This picture is completely quite opposite to the present day, where I don't want to mention so much. సో ఇక్కడ మీరు చూసినట్లయితే పిక్చర్ కంప్లీట్ ప్రజెంట్ ఆపోజిట్ గా ఉంది. ఇక్కడ ఒక ప్రీస్ట్, హిందూ ప్రీస్ట్ మనకి ఇక్కడ బ్యాటింగ్ చేస్తున్నారు, హిందూ స్వామీజీ. అలాగే బ్యాక్ సైడ్ లో ఒక ముస్లిం అతను కీపింగ్ చేస్తున్నాడు క్రికెట్ లో. సో ఇది నార్మల్ గా మనము ఒక సోషల్ టర్మ్ గా తీసుకుంటే దీన్ని మనము యూనిట్ ఇన్ డైవర్సిటీ అని అంటాము. దిస్ ఈస్ అ థింగ్ విచ్ ఈవెన్ ఐ హ్యాడ్ సీన్ ఇన్ మై చైల్డ్హుడ్, బట్ నవ్ డేస్ ప్రజెంట్ గా చిల్డ్రన్ ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో వాళ్ళకి ఇది చాలా ల్యాకింగ్ అనమాట. లెట్ us see the questions here below. What does the picture signify? The picture signifies that we have unity in diversity. Next, do you experience the theme reflected in the picture in your real life? If not, what may be the possible reason for this? So ఈ పిక్చర్ లో ఉన్నటువంటి ఏదైతే పిక్చర్ మీకు కనిపిస్తుందో, ఇలాగే మీరు ఇంతకుముందు ఏమైనా ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అయ్యారా అని అడుగుతున్నారు మీ రియల్ లైఫ్లో. ఒకవేళ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అవ్వకపోతే రీజన్ ఏంటి? ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అయ్యారని అడిగితే, నన్ను అడిగితే, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఫ్రమ్ మై పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూ, I say yes, I would say yes. I don't know how you would answer this, because you know, um, I used to live with our fellow Hindus, Christians, Muslims. These are the common three religion people which we have. So I usually have so many friends from all the three religions. So in our childhood, basically in 1990s childhood, we the children didn't know what is a religion, what is a caste, how people are different from one another, segregation of people, separation of people. No, nothing. We didn't have any of these ideas. Our childhood was completely very pure. I like the present day 10th class children who are listening to this. I don't know how your childhood is. And I can imagine that your childhood is not that good. But coming to our olden days, like 1995, 2000, like that, till 2000, 2005, children did not know what is religion. It is just like a daily practice. That's it. Other than that, they have never seen the people, by, in a sense of biased way, by differentiating them, by separating them. Hey, you are this religion, you should not speak to us. Hey, you are this caste, you should not speak to us. And this type of thinking was not there in those days. But coming to present day, like today when I'm recording this video, It is quite opposite. Okay, there are many reasons for this. Better I don't mention, but for the sake of our 10th class students, I mention, like, one thing is the extremism in the sense, the thinking of a lifestyle or thinking pattern that only my religion is superior. Okay, so instead of thinking all religions are equal, so when you think that my religion is superior, then you wouldn't enjoy this type of image, this type of lifestyle. Okay, నెక్స్ట్ వీ హ్యావ్ డిస్కోర్స్ హియర్. డిస్కోర్స్ ఇక్కడ మనకు ఒకటి ఉంది, యూనిటీ ఇన్ డైవర్సిటీ ఈజ్ ద స్పిరిట్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ నేషన్ అని ఒక థీమ్ ఇచ్చారు మనకు. ఈ థీమ్ బేస్డ్గా మీరు ఒక ఓవరాల్ డిస్కోర్స్ అయితే ఇవ్వాలి. తర్వాత మనం ఇక్కడ రీడింగ్లోకి వెళ్ళిపోదాము ఎలాంటి లేట్ చేయకుండా. సో ఫస్ట్ మనం ఇక్కడ రీడింగ్ చూసినట్లయితే, రీడ్ ద ఫాలోయింగ్ ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్. ఇది ఒక ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ అన్నారు. ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ అంటే ఇది ఒక పార్ట్ మాత్రమే, వేరే ఒక బుక్ నుండి తీసుకున్నది ఇది. ఆ బుక్ నేమ్ ఏంటి అని అంటే వింగ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఫైర్. వింగ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఫైర్ అనే బుక్ నుండి తీసుకున్న ఒక స్మాల్ పార్ట్ ఇది, వేర్ ద ఫార్మర్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా స్పీక్స్ ఆఫ్ హిస్ చైల్డ్హుడ్. సో ఈ మై చైల్డ్హుడ్ అనే ఒక ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ ఏదైతే ఉందో ఇది వింగ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఫైర్ నుండి తీసుకోవడం జరిగింది. ఈ వింగ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఫైర్ని ఫార్మర్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా రాశారు, ఎవరో కాదు, డాక్టర్ ఏపీజే అబ్దుల్ కలాం. ఓకే, నౌ ఈ లెసన్లో మీరు ఏలా చూస్తారంటే అతని చైల్డ్హుడ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఏ విధంగా జరిగింది, అందరితో ఏ విధంగా కలిసిమెలిసి ఉన్నారు అని దీంట్లో ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశారు. లెట్ us గెట్ స్టార్టెడ్. I was born into a middle class Tamil family in the island town of Rameshwaram in the erstwhile Madras state. ఇక్కడ ఐ అని అంటే ఇక్కడ డాక్టర్ ఏపీజే అబ్దుల్ కలాం మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. సో ఐ ఈజ్ డాక్టర్ ఏపీజే అబ్దుల్ కలాం. So I was born into middle class Tamil family. So I was from Tamil Nadu basically, and he was born into a middle class. And he is, the place which he born is a small island town of Rameshwaram, which is in the Madras state. Then Madras state. In the olden days, it is called as Madras state. Now it is called as Tamil Nadu. Now my father, Jainuddin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. Despite these advantages, he possessed great innate wisdom and true generosity of spirit. So this Dr. Apj Abdul Kalam's father, who is Jainuddin, he did not study much in his childhood. అతను చదువుకోలేరు. అలాగే he did not even have much wealth. He did not even have money. He did not have wealth. He did not have any possessions. So this is a negative thing actually. So no formal education, no wealth. But though he had all these disadvantages, he has so much of wisdom. Who? Abdul Kalam's father had so much of wisdom, and also he had great sense of generosity. Okay, so he was so generous towards the people. He had an ideal helpmate in my mother, Ashyamma. I do not recall exact number of people she fed every day, but I am quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our own family put together. సో ఇక్కడ మీరు చూసినట్లయితే వాళ్ళ ఫాదర్కి ఎలాంటి క్వాలిటీస్, జనరస్ క్వాలిటీస్ అయితే ఉన్నాయో అలాంటి ఒక ఐడియల్ హెల్ప్మేటే వాళ్ళ మదర్ కూడా అనమాట. వాళ్ళ మదర్ పేరు ఆషియమ్మ. సో అబ్దుల్ కలాం గారి మదర్ పేరు ఆషియమ్మ ఇక్కడ. సో ఇక్కడ కలాం గారు ఏమని చెప్తున్నారంటే, ఐ డు నాట్ రికాల్ ద ఎగ్జాక్ట్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ షీ ఫెడ్ ఎవ్రీ డే. షీ అంటే ఎవరు? వాళ్ళ మదర్. రోజు కొన్ని పదుల సంఖ్యలో కొన్ని ఎంతమంది వస్తే అంతమందికి ఫుడ్ పెట్టేది అనమాట. అంత జనరస్గా ఉండేవాళ్ళు వాళ్ళు. సో ఇక్కడ అబ్దుల్ కలాం గారు కూడా ఏమని చెప్తున్నారంటే, ఈ కెనాట్ రిమెంబర్ హౌ మెనీ పీపుల్ షీ ఫెడ్, అంటే అంతమందిని ఫీడ్ చేసింది. ఓకేనా, వాళ్ళ ఫ్యామిలీ మెంబర్స్ ఎంతమంది అయితే ఉన్నారో అంతమంది కంటే ఎక్కువ మందిని ఫీడ్ చేసింది అనమాట. ఓకే, నౌ ఐ వాజ్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద చిల్డ్రన్, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. So Abdul Kalam ji, he was a short, he looks very short, okay, not too tall, and he's like undistinguished look, not exactly distinguished. Okay, nobody can distinguish his looks, and he was born to tall and handsome parents. Okay, so he had tall and handsome parents, but he was very short. Now we lived in our ancestral house. Ancestral house in the sense the house which is given by the forefathers, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. So this house was built in the 19th century nearly. So this was given from the grandfathers, grandparents and all. It was a fairly large pakka house made of limestone and brick on the Mosque Street in Rameshwaram. So they used to live in this Mosque Street. The street name is Mosque Street, This is in Rameshwaram. So in that area, in that street, this house was built, which was Pakka house, and also it was built with the limestone and brick. Limestone and brick in the sense, why is it mentioned? Is it necessary to mention that it was built with the limestone and brick? He wanted to tell that they were of middle class family. Okay, they were having the stable life. That is the reason they wanted to he mentioned this limestone and brick. My austere father used to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. So austere father in the sense who is very attentive to the spending and all. So his father was not like a luxurious kind of person. Whatever unnecessary spending is there, he used to avoid it. Okay, so he used to spend only necessary things. However, all necessities were provided for in terms of food, medicine or clothes. సో అకార్డింగ్ టు హిస్ ఫాదర్, వాళ్ళ ఫాదర్ని బట్టి ఏంటి అని అంటే ఇక్కడ నెసెసరీ థింగ్స్ ఏంటి, ఒక మనిషికి కావాల్సింది ఏంటి అని అంటే ఫుడ్ కావాలి, మెడిసిన్ కావాలి, క్లోత్స్ కావాలి. ఇవి మూడు కూడా నెసెసరీ ఐటమ్స్ ఫర్ ఎనీ హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్. In fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. Now, Abdul Kalam ji is saying that. So, Abdul Kalam's life was very secure life. Why? Both materially and emotionally, he was stable. That means he had good money to spend and enjoy, and also emotionally he had so much of so many family members. Okay. Now here, if you can say, this is can you find the odd man out in this picture? The odd man out is here. Can you find this? He is Dr. Apj Abdul Kalam. What is that what is specialty about this picture here? The picture speciality is that there is Lord Rama on the head of this priest. He is a Hindu priest. As we can see, they all wear tilaks on their head. They're all Hindu, Brahmins. Okay, why do I say Brahmin? Because they have this janjam, we call it in as janjam, the thread, okay, on their shoulder to their vest. Okay, this little girl also has this tilak on the head. Only Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is in dressing style of a Muslim, and he wears the Muslim indicating cap on his head also. So he was going along with these other people who are who look like Hindus. So that means the religious diversity which we had once upon a time was very good. Okay, now you can see other boy dancing here. So they both might be friends. Okay, Abdul Kalam and this boy might be friends. We do not know. Next. The second world war broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. So Abdul Kalam garu eppudaithe 8 years lo unnaro adi 1939. So ikkada nundi 1939 nundi back 8 years ki velte 1931 తీసుకోవచ్చు. అప్పుడు అబ్దుల్ కలాం గారు పుట్టారని మనం ఇక్కడ ఇండైరెక్ట్ గా అర్థం చేసుకోవచ్చు. For reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. So in that during that time when the second world war broke out, there was demand for the tamarind seeds. So he did not know what was the reason. Tamarind seeds అంటే మీకు తెలుసు కదా, మీకు మనం చింతపండు, ఓకేనా, చింతపండు యొక్క సీడ్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో అవి అమ్మి డబ్బులు కలెక్ట్ చేసుకునే వాళ్ళు. ఈవెన్ నేను కూడా కలెక్ట్ చేసుకున్నాను అనమాట చిన్నప్పుడు. మా అమ్మమ్మ వాళ్ళు టామరిన్ చింతపండు అదంతా తీస్తే చింతపండు గింజలు అమ్మేసి తీసుకునే వాళ్ళు వస్తూ ఉంటారు. మా విలేజ్ కూడా వచ్చేవాళ్ళు అప్పుడు. ఇప్పుడు ఎవరు అంత రావట్లేదు నాకు తెలిసి. సో అవి ఇస్తే 1 kg 2 kg సంథింగ్ 1 రూపీ 2 రూపీ వస్తే అది వెంటనే తీసుకెళ్ళి, అది సమ్మర్ డేస్లో ఐస్ క్రీమ్ లాగా కోన్ ఐస్ క్రీమ్ వస్తుంది, వెంటనే ఆ కోన్ ఐస్ క్రీమ్ కొనుక్కునే వాళ్ళం అనమాట. సో ఇట్ వాస్ అ లవ్లీ చైల్డ్హుడ్ యాక్చువల్లీ. ఓకే, నౌ ద children or students, they don't enjoy that type of childhood. I feel pity for them actually, because nowadays when weekend comes, go to some movie, okay, that too in IMAX and all, play some games, that too in mobile, not with the friends outside. This is all boring childhood actually. Okay, now I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on the Mars Street. So in the same Mars Street there is a provision shop. So Abdul Kalam used to spend all his sell all his seeds in that shop. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. 1 anna means we can say one paise in olden days. I think the students of 10th class now, they don't know what is this paise. They might not have seen. So 1 rupee consists of 100 pice. Okay, so this 1 paise or 1 anna, I'm not exactly sure how much this 1 anna means. It might be 10 paise or 1 paise, I don't know. So like 1 paise I know exactly, but 1 anna might be in Tamil, I'm not exactly sure. Once you have to look up for that. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the World War One. I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinamani. So uh, Abdul Kalam had a brother-in-law whose name is Jalaluddin. He used to narrate all the stories of World War One. At that time, it was World War Two. So his brother-in-law used to tell him all the stories of World War One. That means before his birth. Okay, and those type of news were actually spotted in the headlines of the newspapers. Dinamani is the newspaper. So Abdul Kalam used to go and check that newspaper, and he used to get all that information, okay, in that Dinamani. Now our area being isolated was completely unaffected by the war. So ఈ రామేశ్వరం ఐలాండ్ లో ఎవరైతే వీళ్ళు ఉంటున్నారో ఆ ఏరియా ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే కంప్లీట్ ఇట్ వాజ్ అవే ఫ్రమ్ ద నార్మల్ ల్యాండ్. ఇట్ వాజ్ అన్ ఐలాండ్. So there was not much war effect in this island. Okay. Now, but soon India was forced to join Allied forces, and something like a state of emergency was declared. So Abdul Kalam ji tells us that at that time, though there was not much war affected in this area, so immediately there was something like a emergency which was imposed. Okay, India joined Allied forces, and that means India also joined World War. And at the time when British was there, so soon there was emergency. So the first casualty came in the form of a suspension of the train halt at Rameshwaram station. So first casualty in the sense, the first damage here. Casualty actually means death, but here we can mean it as first damage. The first problem, let us say. So the first problem was in the form of cancellation or suspension of train. Actually, there was a station in Rameshwaram. I think even today it is there. And because of this emergency, the train was not stopped at this Rameshwaram station. Okay, so the newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out of the moving train on the Rameshwaram road between Rameshwaram and Dhanushkodi. Dhanushkodi and Rameshwaram, there is a bridge, I think now. Now, since the train is not stopped there, the newspaper cannot be directly handed to someone. Instead, they used to bundle it, and they used to throw it down, throw it out of the moving train, running train. That forced my cousin Samsuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameshwaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and as if naturally, I filled the slot. Okay, that means since his cousin Samsuddin was the distributor of these newspapers, so he had to take the help of somebody. So that would be, of course, Kalam. Okay, so Kalam used to go and help this cousin to find these newspapers, to get them, because they would be thrown out of the moving train, right? So he used to go and help his cousin. I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. So while he was helping his cousin, Kalamji also used to get some amount, okay, for his help. So he felt so pride that he was earning some money. And even today, when he was writing these Wings of Fire, he used to feel that pride. Self-earning money is completely different. Okay, so when I was also earning my first amount in the sense, not by doing some job, but by doing these type of small works in my village. So I used to feel so proud of myself. Yes, I am earning some money, kind of feeling. Yeah. Next. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment, and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. So every child, they have their own characteristics. When you are able to find that characteristic of a child, then you can make him successful. Okay, so now I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my father, from my mother. I inherited faith in goodness and a deep kindness, and so did my three brothers and sister. So he had three brothers, that means totally three, sister and Kalam. That means 3, 4, 5. They are totally 5 in number. So Abdul Kalam had specific character. That character is, he was honest, he was self-disciplined, and also he was faithful in goodness, and he was also a kind person. So he inherited all these qualities from his father and from his mother, and also the same qualities were inherited by all these three brothers and sister. I had three close friends. The close friends in my childhood were Ramananda Sastri, Aravindan, another one is Shiva Prakasan. Now, Sastri, you can immediately identify. Sastri is someone who is from the Brahmin family. Above, we have a picture. Again, the odd man out here is Apj Abdul Kalam. As you can see, he wears his hat on the head, and we can see from the looks that even the teacher is also Brahmin. All other students are Brahmins. Only Abdul Kalam is a Muslim child. Okay. Now, his friends are all Aravindan, Shivaprakasan, and Ramananda Sastri. Of course, namely, we can identify that they are Hindus. సో ఇక్కడ వాళ్ళ ఫ్రెండ్స్ అందరూ కూడా ఆల్మోస్ట్ హిందూస్ ఉన్నారు. ఓన్లీ అబ్దుల్ కలాం గారు ఒక్కరే ముస్లింగా ఉన్నారు ఇక్కడ. సో ఆల్ దీస్ బాయ్స్ వర్ ఫ్రమ్ ఆర్థోడాక్స్ హిందూ బ్రాహ్మిన్ ఫ్యామిలీ. ఇక్కడ కంటిన్యూషన్ ఇచ్చారు చూడండి. సో ఈ ముగ్గురు బాయ్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో, కలాం గారి ఫ్రెండ్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో, ఈ ముగ్గురు కలాం ఫ్రెండ్స్ కూడా కంప్లీట్లీ ఆర్థోడాక్స్ హిందూ ఫ్యామిలీకి సంబంధించిన వాళ్ళు అనమాట. ఆర్థోడాక్స్ హిందూ బ్రాహ్మిన్ ఫ్యామిలీ అంటే కంప్లీట్గా హిందూ ప్రాక్టీసెస్తోని, కస్టమ్స్తోని, ట్రెడిషన్తోనే ఉండేవాళ్ళు అనమాట. అంటే ముస్లిమ్స్ని కూడా వాళ్ళు దగ్గరికి అలౌ చేయలేదు, అంత స్ట్రిక్ట్గా ఉండేవాళ్ళు. బట్ ఇక్కడ మనం యూనిటీ ఇన్ డైవర్సిటీ అని గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నాం. దట్ మీన్స్ కలాం యూస్ టు మింగిల్ విత్ దమ్ అనమాట. సో అబోవ్ కూడా ఇంకొక పిక్చర్ వచ్చింది చూసారా. సో వీళ్ళందరూ ఆర్థోడాక్స్ బ్రాహ్మిన్ ఫ్యామిలీకి సంబంధించిన వాళ్ళైనా సరే, వాళ్ళు కలాంని వాళ్ళ దగ్గర ఉండి మంచిగా ఎంజాయ్ చేయడానికి, ఫ్రెండ్లీగా ఉండడానికి వాళ్ళు అలౌ చేసేవాళ్ళు. తర్వాత, యాజ్ చిల్డ్రన్ నన్ ఆఫ్ అస్ ఎవర్ ఫెల్ట్ ఎనీ డిఫరెన్స్ అమాంగెస్ట్ అవర్ సెల్వ్స్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ రిలీజియస్ డిఫరెన్సెస్ అండ్ అప్బ్రింగింగ్. సో వీళ్ళని ఏ విధంగా అయితే వీళ్ళ తల్లిదండ్రులు, వీళ్ళ పెద్దవాళ్ళు వీళ్ళని పెంచి పోషించారో, ఆ పెంచి పోషించడంలో ఎలాంటి డిఫరెన్సెస్ వాళ్ళు చూపించలేదన్నమాట. అంటే మనకి వాళ్ళకి డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంది, ఓకే వాళ్ళు వేరు మనం వేరు, ఇలాంటి ఒక పాయిజనస్ టీచింగ్ అనేది వాళ్ళ పేరెంట్స్ ఇవ్వలేరు. మనం ప్రజెంట్ డే చూస్తే ఇంత డిఫరెన్స్ ఎందుకు, ఇంత హేట్రెడ్ ఎందుకు ఉంది అని చెప్తానని నేను ఒక్కటే రీజన్ చెప్తాను. మంచిగా పెరగాలన్నా ఒక చైల్డ్, చెడుగా పెరగాలన్నా అది పేరెంట్స్ మీదనే డిపెండ్ అయి ఉంటుంది. పేరెంట్స్ కన్సర్న్లో పేరెంట్స్ యొక్క క్వాలిటీస్ మంచిగా పాజిటివ్గా ఉండి పెరిగిన పిల్లలకు పేరెంట్స్ యొక్క కన్సర్న్లో లేకుండా, ఓకేనా, ఈ మన క్యాస్ట్ ఇది, అతనితో నువ్వు కలవద్దు, ఇది అతని క్యాస్ట్ అని చెప్పేసి చిన్నప్పటి నుండే పిల్లలకు ఇలా కొంతమంది నూరు పోసే వాళ్ళు ఉంటారనమాట. సో అలాంటి వాళ్ళకు వీళ్ళకు చాలా వ్యత్యాసం ఉంటుంది. అయితే ఇక్కడ కలాం గారి లైఫ్ స్టైల్ ఎలా ఉంది అని అంటే, చిన్నప్పటి నుండి వాళ్ళ పేరెంట్స్ డిఫరెన్సెస్ ఏం చూపించలేదు. ఈవెన్ వాళ్ళ ఫ్రెండ్స్ పేరెంట్స్ కూడా అలాంటి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏం చూపించలేదు. వాళ్ళందరూ కలిసికట్టుగా ఉండేవాళ్ళు అంతే. ఇన్ఫ్యాక్ట్ రామానంద శాస్త్రి వాజ్ ద సన్ ఆఫ్ పాక్షిల్ లక్ష్మణ శాస్త్రి, ద హై ప్రీస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద రామేశ్వరం టెంపుల్. ఇంకా దీనికి అడిషనల్గా ఇంకా యాడ్ అయింది ఏంటి అని అంటే, రామానంద శాస్త్రి ఎవరైతే బెస్ట్ ఫ్రెండ్ ఆఫ్ కలాం గారి బెస్ట్ ఫ్రెండ్ ఉన్నారో, వాళ్ళ ఫాదర్ ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో, వాళ్ళ ఫాదర్ రామేశ్వరం టెంపుల్ చాలా ఫేమస్. అది రామేశ్వరం టెంపుల్ కి హై ప్రీస్ట్ అనమాట. దట్ మీన్స్ హీ వాజ్ ద మెయిన్ హెడ్ ప్రీస్ట్. సో అలాంటి ప్రీస్ట్ యొక్క సన్తో కూడా కలాం గారు అప్పుడు ఫ్రెండ్షిప్ చేశారు, ముస్లిం అయినా కూడా. లేటర్ హీ టుక్ ఓవర్ ద ప్రీస్ట్హుడ్ ఆఫ్ రామేశ్వరం టెంపుల్ ఫ్రమ్ హిస్ ఫాదర్. లేటర్ హీ అని అంటే ఎవరు? మన రామానంద శాస్త్రి ఫ్రెండ్ ఉన్నారు కదా, కలాం గారి ఫ్రెండ్ రామానంద శాస్త్రి ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో, సో హీ టుక్ ద ప్రీస్ట్హుడ్ ఆఫ్ రామేశ్వరం టెంపుల్. తర్వాత అరవిందన్ ద సెకండ్ ఫ్రెండ్, హీ వెంట్ ఇన్ టు బిజినెస్ ఆఫ్ అరేంజింగ్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ ఫర్ విజిటింగ్ పిలిగ్రిమ్స్. సో అతను ఒక బిజినెస్ అనేది స్టార్ట్ చేశారు, పిలిగ్రిమ్స్ ని ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ చేసే బిజినెస్. తర్వాత శివప్రకాశన్ బికేమ్ క్యాటరింగ్ కాంట్రాక్టర్ ఫర్ ద సదరన్ రైల్వేస్. సదరన్ రైల్వేస్ లో శివప్రసాద్ ఒక క్యాటరింగ్ బిజినెస్ స్టార్ట్ చేశారు. తర్వాత డ్యూరింగ్ ద యాన్యువల్ Sri Sitarama Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boards with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site, situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirtha, which was near our house. So this Kalam's family, they had a boat. Kalam's father used to run a boat. So their boat was specially designed with the platform to carry idols of Rama from this temple to that marriage site where it is called as Ramatirtha. So we know Sitarama Kalyanam, Sri Rama Kalyanam, that is a normal festival which every Hindu celebrates. So in that ceremony, they have to take the idol of Lord Rama from temple to this location where the marriage ceremony takes place. Okay. Now, they used to, this Kalam's family used to ride that boat in that lake, and they used to, place the proper platform with the, ability of carrying these idols of Lord Rama. Now, events from the Ramayana and from the life of the prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. So, see, though Abdul Kalam's family was completely Muslims, they used to even narrate the stories of Ramayana and also Prophet Muhammad. Prophet in the sense, Prophet Muhammad, that means Muslim stories, some prophet stories, and also Ramayana stories, that means Hindu stories. So both the stories were told to the children of the family of these Muslims. Okay. Now one day I was in the fifth standard at Rameshwaram Elementary School. So Abdul Kalam was in the elementary school. A new teacher came to our class. There was a new teacher. So I used to wear a cap which marked me as Muslim. So as we can see in the picture, so we can see he is a Muslim. We can simply identify it. Now I always sat in the front row next to Ramananda Sastri. So Ramananda Sastri and he both are very good friends, best friends. So they used to sit in the front row and also side by side. Who were the sacred thread? Sacred thread in the sense, that's what I told you as Janjam. You see, this is a thread that they have. So this is the indicator that these guys are Hindus, and this is the indicator, as we can see, that he is a Muslim. Now, what happened later? The new teacher could not stomach the Hindu priest's son sitting with the Muslim boy. So, as we can see in the picture, that he is also a Brahmin, so he cannot digest. He cannot stomach means he could not digest that Hindu priest's son, the priest of that Rameshwaran temple. His son is sitting with the Muslim boy. He could not digest that. The teacher could not digest that. So, in accordance with our social ranking, as a new teacher saw it, I was asked to go and sit on the backbench. So, according to the social rank of some people, just like this, new teacher, he has to sit in the backbench. So, immediately, the teacher, according to the belief he believed, he asked Kalam to go and sit back. Now, I felt very sad, and so did Ramananda Sastri. So, Abdul Kalam felt very sad, and also Ramananda Sastri felt very sad because they both are very good friends. He looked utterly downcast as I shifted to my seat in the last row. The image of him weeping when I shifted to the last row left a lasting impression on me. So, when the teacher asked Kalam to sit at the back, now this Ramananda Sastri, he felt bad and he started to cry. Now, this type of weeping left a strong impression on Dr. Abdul Kalam. After school, we went home and told our respective parents about the incident. So, whatever the incident that happened in the school, that was completely told to the parents. Now, Lakshmana Sastri summoned the teacher. Who is this Lakshmana Sastri? He is the high priest here. Okay, the father of Ramanand Sastri. Here we can see. Immediately he came and he gave a warning to this teacher in the presence of the children and told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of innocent children. So Lakshmana Sastri is the high priest of the temple. He is an Orthodox Brahmin and he is the father of this little kid, Ramananda Sastri. Now, this Lakshmana Sastri came and told this teacher, hey teacher, you be careful, you are spreading social inequality, you are spreading poison, and you are spreading communal intolerance in the mind of little innocent children. Okay, you are a teacher, behave in such a way. These might be the words from the father. Now, he bluntly asked the teacher to either apologize or quit the school and the island. Immediately, Ramanand Sastri also said, you should apologize the children or you leave the school, you go away, you get transferred from here. And not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Sastri conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. Ultimately reformed means ultimately changed. So he was a young teacher. The teacher was very young. So young means, that thing you can understand. That means he belongs to some new generation. The generation is changing. Okay. Now, after Lakshmana Sastri summoned him, he warned the teacher. Immediately, the teacher felt regretted. He's apologized, and he also realized that he should not create this type of communal intolerance. On the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was very rigid in terms of the segregation of different social groups. So they did not separate, like, this is your religion, this is my religion. This type of behavior was not there in Rameshwaram. Now, however, my science teacher, Shiva Subramania Iyer means completely again Orthodox Brahmin related word. An Orthodox Brahmin, as we can see here, was with a very conservative wife. Conservative wife in the sense, the wife who is completely deep rooted into the Hinduism was something of a rebel. She was a rebel type of wife. He did his best to break social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds could mingle easily. Now, he, in the sense, this Subramaniam Iyer, he is a science teacher. So he used to break the barriers of the society. Like, Brahmin should not come to Hindu's house. Hindu should not go to, Brahmin should not go to Muslim's house. Muslim should not go to Hindu's house. These type of barriers, social barriers should be there. Now, this Shiva Subramania Iyer, he used to break these type of barriers. He's a Hindu Brahmin, so he used to break these type of barriers, and he wanted all the society to be equal and all. He used hours with me in the sense hours with Kalam, and he would also say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. Now, this type of supportive and motivating teachers should be there in every school. Okay, so this Shiva Subramaniam Iyer used to tell Kalam that, Kalam, you should grow up well, you should study well, you should be equal with all the enlightened and educated people. Okay, now this is motivating, right? And next we can see in the picture that he is the Shiva Subramaniam Iyer. Okay, he is a science teacher. This might be his wife. And here our hero of the story, Kalamji, is sitting and eating some food here. Let us see what happened. One day he invited me, his teacher invited Abdul Kalam to his home for a meal. Now his wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in a ritual pure kitchen. See, Muslim in the sense, they eat meat. Usually they eat chicken, mutton and all. Whereas rigid Brahmins, they don't at all touch meat and all. Now when his teacher invited Abdul Kalam to eat in his house, his wife was completely terrified. His wife refused. Hey, my dear husband, have you gone mad? You're bringing a Muslim boy into our house. I'm making all these purifying rituals to our kitchen, and you're bringing a Muslim boy. This might be the thought of this wife, right? She refused to serve me in her kitchen. She did not, allow Abdul Kalam to come into the kitchen. So she left. She kept him away. Okay. Now Shiva Subramania Iyer was not perturbed, nor did he get angry with his wife, but instead served me with his own hands and sat down beside me to eat his meal. Okay. Now, what happened when wife rejected to serve Abdul Kalam some food? Immediately, he only came forward. His teacher came forward and he served Kalam with some food. His wife did not come. Okay. Now, his wife watched us from behind the kitchen door. I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, and cleaned the floor after the meal. Now his wife, okay, the science teacher's wife, is observing them from far, and Abdul Kalam feels like, whatever he did, like the way he ate, the way he drank, and the way he cleansed that floor and all, everything was quite normal, just like any other Hindu boy. Okay. Now when I was leaving his house, Subramania Iyer invited me to join him for dinner again the next weekend. So after completion of that meal, when Abdul Kalam was about to leave the house, again Shiva Subramania Iyer said, hey Abdul Kalam, again you come on the next weekend, we'll again have dinner. Okay. Now, observing my hesitation, he told not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. Now, when he invited, Abdul Kalam was not that interested to come. Why? Because the treatment that he faced from the wife of his teacher is not that good. అవునా? సో వాళ్ళ టీచర్ అంతా ఏం చేసింది, అతన్ని అంత మంచిగా ట్రీట్ చేయలేదు. సో అబ్దుల్ కలాం కొంచెం హెసిటెంట్ గా ఫీల్ అయ్యాడు అనమాట. నో నో ఐ డోంట్ వాంట్ టు కమ్ అని చెప్పేసి. బట్ ఇక్కడ ఇమీడియట్ గా వాళ్ళ సార్ ఏమని చెప్పారు, ఎప్పుడైతే నువ్వు సొసైటీలో ఉన్న సిస్టమ్ ని చేంజ్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నావో అప్పుడు ఇలాంటి ఒక ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ నీకు ఎదురవుతాయి. సో ఇలాంటి చిన్న చిన్న ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ చూసి నువ్వు బాధపడుకో అని చెప్పారు. ఓకే, సో ఇట్ టోల్డ్ వెన్ యూ వాంట్ టు చేంజ్ ద సిస్టమ్ you need not to bother about these type of problems, because you will face these type of problems if you want to change the society. Now when I visited his house next week, Subramanya Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me food with her own hands. So next time when Abdul Kalam went there, it was not the same treatment which he received previously. It was completely different. Okay, the teacher's wife, she herself came and served the food. She even took him inside the kitchen. So it had become very common. Now, the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent. So India also was a part of the winning side in the Second World War, and Second World War was over. So Indians built their own India, declared Gandhiji. Okay, so declared Gandhiji as the father of the nation, and India had its own nation. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramantapuram. So when India was free from the clutches of British, then now Abdul Kalam he wanted to study some, in another place. So he took the permission from his father and he went to some other town. Now he told me as if thinking aloud, Abul. Abul is a nickname, of Abdul Kalam, which he was called by. I know you have to go a way to grow. His father told you have to grow very big. That means very big in the sense, not in the sense of height. That means you have to become a great person. Does the seagull not fly across the sun alone with a nest? That means he is mentioning this as a seagull. Seagull in the sense, the bird does not fly across the sun alone and without a nest. Okay, so he says that means when you are flying away, from the family, you need not to carry the complete nest. Seagull is the bird which doesn't carry its nest. It has to fly on its own. It doesn't bother about the nest. It doesn't bother about the bird doesn't bother about the eggs, the family, nothing. So now these are actually the inspirational words from his father. Says, now you need not to bother about our family, we'll be good. You need not to again think about us. You have to study well, you have to be well. Now he quoted Khalil Gibran's to my hesitant mother, your children are not your children, they are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you but not from you. You may give them your love but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. So immediately his father also quoted one sentence from Khalil Gibran to his mother. His mother was hesitant. Why? No mother wants to leave their children and stay, right? So when Abdul Kalam was going to the next town to Ramantapuram to study, his mother said, no, I don't want to send my son on now. So now immediately his father, one sentence he told to Abdul Kalam said, you have to leave the family if you want to, improve your future. If you want to have great future. And in the same way, simultaneously, he told his mother also, see, your sons are just children who came through you. It is not you are only the person who can give birth. You are just the mediator to give birth. That's it. Okay. And remember, you cannot impose all your thoughts that you have, because children have their own thoughts. So this is actually an inspirational one. Okay. So this is how, he satisfied, he actually encouraged Abdul Kalam, and also he pacified his wife. Okay, the father pacified his wife. So this is how his childhood has, all the progress from being, around the house, from having so many of friends, and finally leaving the family and going to the other town to study. So this is how Abdul Kalam's life was completely processed. Okay, now this is written by Apj Abdul Kalam. Let us check his life story in this about the author. Look at his tremendous smile and simple, dress and simple hairstyle. This is quite different, right? This is completely different to the politicians that we have now. Okay, now look at this. Dr. Aul Pakir Jainuddin Abdul Kalam, this is his full name. We call him as APJ Abdul Kalam. Was born on 15th October 1931 at Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu. He was responsible for the evolution of ISRO, very famous, to launch. Okay, this is here. Launch vehicle program, particularly the PSLV configuration, and for the development and operation of Agni and Prithvi missiles, and for building indigenous capability in critical technologies through networking of multiple institutions. So we can see his greatness still here. Okay, he was the responsible person. He was the director of ISRO. Okay, and he also developed different launching vehicles. Okay, and he also developed the indigenous capability vehicles. That means the vehicles, PSLV vehicles without the idea of the foreign, the own Indian own vehicles. Okay, with the Indian own technology. In his literary pursuit, four of Dr. Kalam's books, Wings of Fire. This is the Wings of Fire book. That my children extract is taken from this Wings of Fire. India 2020, A Vision for the Next Millennium. This is another book. My Journey is another book. Another one is Ignited Minds, Unleashing the Power Within India. These are the four books which are very famous, have become household names in India and among the Indian nation abroad. That means almost every house has these books, means who are reading. Okay, next. Dr. Kalam received honorary doctorates from 30 universities and years. This is tremendous, my dear friends. This is tremendous. He received honorary doctorates from 30 universities. It's not from one or two universities, not three, not 13. It is 30. You can just imagine his tremendous knowledge that he had. Okay, and the institutions. He was awarded the coveted civilian awards. That means famous civilian awards, honorary civilian awards. That is, one is Padma Vibhushan, another one is Padma Vibhushan, and the highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna. Okay, there is no award which was not on the name of Dr. Abdul Kalam, if you ask me. Padma Bhushan was there. This is Padma Vibhushan. This is another highest, civilian awards. Okay, and also the highest civilian award of India, that is Bharat Ratna. Of course, he is a true Bharat Ratna. Okay, he is a real Ratna. Now, Dr. Abdul Kalam became the president of India on 25th July 2022. He was the president. I feel like I was lucky, um, to be ruled under his presidentialship. So in 2002, when he became the president, I think I was in my second class. Okay, in 2002, I did my second class. And by the time I knew, like by the time of fifth standard or fourth standard, I knew who was Dr. Apj Abdul Kalam. We used to speak about him. We used to, have some speeches, some essay writings. We used to listen some news about him. We used to read news about him in newspapers. It was very bright childhood, just like Abdul Kalam had, right? So this is the lesson which we have for my child. Okay, and in the next lesson we are going to go through the next one, that is the Plea for India. This is a poem, and later we will go through Unity in Diversity, right? So this is it for this video, students, and see you all in the next video with the next lesson. So before you could leave, if you like the lesson explanation, please hit on the like button, and also please do share these videos with your friends. And if you are visiting my channel for the first time, please do hit on the subscribe button and also click on the notification bell so that you will get the further notifications. Thank you all for watching. See you all on the next video.